What's up, you filthy casuals? This is Casual Shenanigans Gaming. I am one of your hosts, Germ Gaming. I am joined by my fellow co-host, Dave.
Hey folks, I am Dave, the not-so-evil Evil Viking 13.
Joel, or Wilson.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm back.
Were you gone?
For a while.
Okay.
Somebody missed me.
I didn't. Okay.
He's so low.
And we're joined by special guest KMACK.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Welcome to the show. So, a lot of you will have noticed that this is not live, and you're not going to see a video of this one. So that'll kind of segue into our first topic of the evening. Google has updated and pushed out this update where you have to link your Google Plus page with your YouTube page in some way that doesn't really make sense. But once you do that, in typical Google fashion, things have stopped working, and one of those things is Google Hangouts, because it has forgotten all of my contacts, and even when I manually invite people, it doesn't always send the invites, and even if they get them, they can't always join. So that's where we're at tonight.
That's the funny part is, like, I think the idea behind it was, hey, like, it's all connected. It's so easy and simple, but it's also all connected. So when it breaks, it all breaks.
Yeah. And well, their idea was if they did this, it would kind of cut down on people saying horrible things on the internet. Because, you know, no one would want to say that with their real name on it, which I guess they've never heard of Facebook, because that sure doesn't seem to slow anyone down on there. But did you see that picture I tweeted out earlier today? Someone commenting on a GPU review, like pretty much telling people to die.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
So yeah, not really off to a great start. But we'll start the podcast with the news. First bit of news is really dumb. Square Enix has announced Project Flare, which is a cloud gaming service.
That's why you start with this news.
Well, you know, you just want to get it out of the way first. Okay. We've announced Project Flare, which is a cloud gaming service they claim allows much better performance than typical cloud gaming services like Gaikai or OnLive. It said, especially for AI and physics, it uses multiple servers to spread the load out. They explained this with some graphs and videos. It didn't really make any sense, so I can't really tell you much else. But we'll see if it actually happens. Square Enix hasn't really done anything really smart in years now, so I don't really have super high hopes, but who knows. Microsoft, they used to make some of the staples of the PC gaming platform, like Flight Simulator and Age of Empires. 15 years ago, they were hot stuff. They've changed their strategy in recent years in an attempt to make everyone hate Games for Windows Live as much as humanly possible. They did this with a careful combination of a terrible user interface, a lack of any useful features, and needless integration with Xbox Live for achievements and all kinds of things except the ability to play games with people on Xbox Live, the one feature people might actually want. They claim they've learned from this, and they are ready to start doing more things for the largest gaming platform in the world, which is Windows. Microsoft Studios VP Phil Spencer told Shack News that they have more projects coming to Windows than at any point in the past 10 years. So, we'll see.
That's good to hear, because at one point, if you wanted to buy a Games for Windows Live game, you would start by going to Xbox.com and logging in.
The last stupid game I had to suffer through with that was Grand Theft Auto 4, and it was the worst.
It's like 9 different logins, like on multiple overlays with crashes and...
It's all of Vista, like it's the Vista experience turned into a game overlay that does nothing. Bungie has no plans to bring Destiny to the PC. They say this would spread their resources too thin, and they would rather focus on having a good product on a few platforms instead of having a poor product on multiple platforms, which is very commendable.
Yeah.
In totally unrelated news, Call of Duty Ghost is the worst turd of a PC port to be released in quite some time. It has negative SLI and crossfire scaling. That means if you have multiple cards, the game runs worse.
And micro stutter. Don't forget about the micro stutter.
Gamers are getting frame rates in the single digits with multiple high-end cards. I was getting 12 frames per second until I switched off one of my cards, and now I'm getting 25.
Oh, so you have it. You actually bought it.
Yeah. I'm
so much judgment.
Well, I'm regretting that now.
I don't think Joel's heard this. Joel, you know how the Battlefield 4 installation?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm getting it for PS4. I'm just not getting it for the PC.
Well, don't.
Because I can take it back, because no one will play multiplayer with me.
Yeah, Joel, you know how Battlefield 4 looks pretty good on PC? Like, pretty awesome on your new rig, right?
Yeah, it looks fairly good.
fairly good. It's like the best looking game you ever
It
seen.
looks fairly good. Continue.
All right, yeah.
Well, you know how it's like a, was it 27 gig install? Like pretty good size, but it looks good, right?
Yeah,
27 gigs, pretty reasonable. Ghost is 50 gigs on PC.
40. They knocked it down to 40.
Oh, sorry. I've heard some people that are still getting 50 though.
Really? Okay.
Does it have like an insane amount of uncompressed audio or something?
Who knows?
I have
The
no
audio
idea.
doesn't sound that good, and the textures don't look that great.
Yeah,
and
that's the weird part. Like, there's
and
no
the models aren't that awesome. And I'm getting 25 frames per second, and the mouse acceleration is horrible. And the game just quits working all the time. Like the intro movies go, like it can't play the intro movies smoothly. Like my computer is definitely fast enough to play a compressed 720p video.
Like Total Biscuit's video that I was watching, he was like recording his intro for his video like on the main menu of the game, and the main menu was like skipping and lagging, like just like the text and like the background video.
KMACK, have you gotten Ghost yet? Or are you planning on it?
I do have Ghost. I just finished the single player last night, but I unfortunately only have it for 360. I don't have a gaming PC.
Well, no, I think you're fortunate for this.
Yeah, seriously. good call.
How did it run for you?
It ran okay. I had a little bit of problems. I had a couple hiccups. Like you said, the frame rate was kind of slow. Some of the multiplayer maps are not so hot for that, but not terrible, but not exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah, so far I've been really disappointed. I mean, one thing you could always count on with Call of Duty, at least, is that it ran really smoothly because the engine was like 8 years old. But whatever they've done to
Is
it
it a
this
different
time,
engine or something?
it's like a very modified engine, but it's just horribly optimized. Like I get that like games come out and they'll have bugs and things that you need to work out, but it seems like no one even bothered installing this on a computer to see if it would work before they released it. They're just like, ship it.
Compile and go live.
They'll buy it anyway. Fuck them.
Yeah, well, basically, well, it's Call of Duty. You know that's their mentality. I mean, yeah.
Every year we go fucking buy it anyway. It gets worse and worse, yet we keep on buying it.
You know, it's interesting. Activision was very quick to boast that they've sold $1 billion worth of Call of Duty already, except it's $1 billion to retail shelves. They won't say how much they've actually sold to consumers.
Except that's not what they said. They didn't say they sold. They just said they sold it to retail. They didn't say, "Hey, we made $1 billion from it." They just said, "Hey, we have $1 billion worth of retail."
Right,
So,
but you only say that when your game isn't selling. Like,
so a lot of games say that though.
yeah,
a
but
lot of games
the
say
point
that,
is
like,
Call
all
of
the time.
Call of Duty normally they say, "Hey, we broke every entertainment record ever in the world again," which they've done for like the last 3 years, except this year, of course, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
out,
but no one expected this one to do very well because it's changing new systems. It's not a number. It's not Black Ops.
Well, yeah, but it also could be the beginning of the end because I haven't seen anyone online say, "Wow, Ghost is really awesome. I'm so glad I bought this." Even the Call of Duty YouTubers who are like nothing but Call of Duty are kind of like, "Yep, pop in Madden 2014." That's basically what it is. So.
It is kind of an awkward time for releases, though, with 5 platforms currently being developed for. The Frostbite team over at EA was tweeting today that they're counting down the day until they actually just delete the Xbox 360 and PS3 branches of the Frostbite engine, which is still a ways away, but like there's just so much multi-platform stuff going down right now. It's a really terrifying time to be deploying a game.
Yeah, but it's not like they didn't know this was coming for the past 2 years of development.
Also true.
So, all right, graphics cards, always exciting for PC gamers. And this is a super exciting time because AMD just released their new series of cards. All right, all of this has happened in the past 2 weeks, so try to keep up. AMD released the R290X. It offers performance equal to or superior to the GTX Titan for $600, which is $100
Which is
less.
not really good anyways.
The Titan?
No, the Titan's a piece of crap.
It was the single fastest video card on the market.
I know, we could barely utilize it. With any game, it's like, oh, here, let me put this $1,000 thing in, and I only use like 40% of it.
That's not always true, but
that is so very true.
But the thing is, Joel,
cards are the ones that are actually used the most.
Joel, you don't buy a card like that for the here and the now. You buy it so that a year from now you're installing new games and hitting everything on Ultra.
No, but that's the problem though. That's the problem. Cards like that are so far advanced like now, they don't work that well because they're not supported that very long.
That's not true. The Titan's going to be around.
True.
Okay, let me look. We're on like line 1, and this is a long paragraph. The GTX Titan was $1,000, or is $1,000. So they released the R290X for $100 less than the GTX 780 and $400 less than the Titan. The R290X has equal to or superior performance than the Titan in pretty much every benchmark. So it became the best high-end GPU on the market at $600, which is pretty awesome. Well, NVIDIA let AMD gloat about that for 2 whole days. Then they dropped the price of the GTX 770 to $330 and the 780 to $520.
Just after Joel bought his.
Yep.
How much is 770?
$330.
Man.
So
actually, Joel, you only paid $10 more for yours because we found you a crazy deal. So
yeah,
that was pretty sweet.
It gets better. It gets better. So AMD just laughed at NVIDIA because NVIDIA has fallen into their trap. AMD immediately announced the R290, no X, just R290. Okay, get this. It's the same card as the R290X. They cut out like 5% of the cores and stuff, but the performance is literally identical in every review I've seen. It's identical to the R290X, and it's $400.
Oh,
so
man.
Now you have a card that is equal to or superior to a Titan for $400.
This is what competition is so awesome. Like, the fighting is just, it's delicious.
Well, NVIDIA, it keeps going. NVIDIA quickly recovered, flipped the bird to AMD, and released the GTX 780 Ti.
$45.
For $700, the 780 Ti is 15% faster than the Titan and $300 cheaper. And once again, NVIDIA has the single fastest GPU on the market by far. So we're back to NVIDIA is the fastest and AMD is the best value for the money, because the R290 at $400 is still amazing.
Yeah,
you could get 2 R290s for $100 more than one 780 Ti, and it would absolutely stomp it in performance. 2 Radeon 7950s like mine can be had for less than $500, and they will equal or surpass the 780 Ti by a little bit. So if money's more important, you can still get 2 smaller cards and beat the 780 Ti. It's not a great value, but it was NVIDIA just saying, hey, we are still top dog. And they definitely did that. So I can't imagine. I mean, this has to stop at some point. Like, unless AMD comes out tomorrow and they're like, we have the R290X edition. That's 2 of them on 1 die, and it's $8.
I was imagining, like, in the press conference, you just see 2 cards, like, roughly soldered together, like, still dripping with wet solder. Like, we just slammed 2 of them together. Like, screw you guys.
And we're giving you the entire Steam library for free. AMD, never settle forever Apocalypse Edition.
We're buying you a car, whether you like it or not.
Yes, wine and dine me. I like it.
Everyone gets
I really can't remember the last time that the competition was this fierce and this, like, fast. I love seeing competition like this.
It hasn't been like this since the GTX 280 and the Radeon 4890 came out.
I
The
remember
GTX 280 was like the king, and then the 4890 was half the price and could be overclocked to be basically the same performance. That was a good time. Okay, so anyway, that's the news.
That's a lot of graphics card talk.
That is a lot of graphics card talk. Aren't you glad you came on this one, Pete, you console gamer?
Where was that going?
Okay, so
PC racists.
that doesn't even make sense. We have a question from. I should have pulled up the tweet before I started talking about this. RPat92. If you were a designer of a shooter, list any number of real-world unique weapons to make the final game. I'm assuming by unique weapons, he means weapons you don't stick in games. What would you guys stick in a shooter if you were designing it that you don't normally see in video games?
Some sort of water gun.
All right, I guess that.
I always wanted some fluid dynamic water gun. I'm still hoping that Half-Life 3 does that. Some sort of thing that just allows you to manipulate water or something.
All right, Joel, that's a terrible answer. Dave?
That's a pretty good answer. Water's cool and refreshing.
Water's cool.
Double fun.
I would say some homemade weapons. Like, I saw a video a while back about how to make a 12-gauge shotgun out of $20 of parts from Home Depot. and like you can actually use it like a lot.
That sounds super dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be super careful, but it worked really, really well. Just like a smoothbore shotgun, $20 from Home Depot, totally legal in the U.S. to build your own firearm. Like for games like DayZ and stuff like that, I would love to see just some really rough and tumble, like almost Fallout style home built weapons like that.
Speaking of that, I saw a video today. There's this company, I forget their name, but they make a adapter that goes on your threaded barrel, and it lets you screw an oil filter onto the end of your gun.
Nice.
And turn it into a suppressor. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay, that's kind of a cool gimmick. And then I watched the video and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
That thing is so quiet. Now, the adapter is officially a suppressor and you have to get the tax stamp and everything like that.
Yes,
so everyone just can't like roll out and just buy it.
Yeah, legal warning, do not go out and screw an oil filter onto your rifles tonight, guys.
Yeah, not
you
suggesting
will
that at
go
all.
to jail. You have to have the tax stamp.
Yeah, but that was actually really amazing. So like for the price of an oil filter plus a $75 thing plus a tax stamp, so probably $300 total. You could have,
and unfortunately, about 14 months of wait because the ATF is backed up over a year now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Americans like their automatic weapons.
God like their suppressors.
But yeah, like that idea of a suppressor, that sounds really awesome. Like, I mean, oil filters are cheap. I saw they did a full auto burst from a 5.45 rifle, full auto 30 rounds, and it still worked awesome. Like no bulging, no pressure, like, you know, it wasn't destroyed at all. It was still good to go. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, sorry.
I just love homemade science stuff like that. Like, how cool would that be in a game to like build a rifle or a shotgun out of like spare parts and then tape an oil filter suppressor on it? Like, that would just be sweet.
It would be cool. KMACK, what would you add to a shooter if you were designing it? What weapons would you want to put in there that you maybe don't see normally?
Are we talking like practical guns or guns that are just for fun?
Well, Joel said a water gun, so I think pretty much anything's on the table.
I've always wanted like a secondary, like for those embarrassing moments, like when you sneak up behind a sniper, he's like laying in the grass, he doesn't see you at all. Like you pull out your secondary, and it's just something that totally embarrasses him. Like you piss on him or something like that before you knife him in the back or something along that lines. Like it has no practical use in the game at all, and it's just purely for those embarrassing moments you get like maybe once or twice a week. You know, you're playing. You sneak up on somebody, doesn't see you, you're teabagging behind him, and then all of a sudden you drop this gun on him, and like you get that 1 kill a week with this gun, and that's what I would run.
I'm imagining now a gun that gives him a wedgie so hard it kills him.
Exactly. Something along those lines. Like just to embarrass you, gun. Like you can't kill anybody with it unless you embarrass them.
You give him a wedgie and like snap him in half.
That would be my secondary in every game ever, all the time.
So you're designing a multiplayer shooter, sounds like.
Yes.
Well, Reese, our Pato, thank you for that weird question. We have a question from somebody. Hey, I recently built a PC for gaming, recording videos and music and editing stuff, and I'm looking to add some extra hard drive space. I currently have a 3 terabyte Seagate hard drive inside my PC with a 500 gig external, and I wanted to know if there are any hard drives you would recommend for recording game footage. And this guy's name is Shane. Shane, what I would probably recommend, you guys hop in if you would say something different, but you have a 3 terabyte hard drive already. That's really awesome for recording stuff on. Just get a separate drive to install your OS and all your programs on, and then just use your 3 terabyte for recording. Like get a SSD or maybe a 500 gig Caviar Black or something, and then just use your 3 terabyte to record. Or if you need that much more space, get another 3 terabyte Seagate. I mean, those are fine drives.
I'm actually going to disagree with you there.
Go for it.
I have consistently found that using recording software like DxTory, having a hard drive that's almost completely dedicated just to video recording just works so well. Like it might just be just a couple FPS difference, but performance-wise, like if you want the best scenario, go ahead and have a drive just for recording if you can.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like get another drive to put all your stuff on, and then just use that 3 terabyte drive for recording.
Oh well, I put it on the new drive just because I like new shiny things, but
no, but the new drive would be the one that you have your OS on. You'd install everything on the OS on that drive, and then you just keep. Well, yes.
I just wanted to contradict.
Okay,
that's right.
But yeah, Dave's absolutely right. If you have the option, keep a separate hard drive to do your recording and editing and stuff on. It'll just be a lot easier that way. And definitely don't install a game to the same drive you were recording on, because that will run horribly.
Yes, indeed.
And then we have one more.
A lot of questions this week, man.
Actually,
we're
I have more.
We're
not even answering all of them this week. I saved a couple for next time.
Nice.
Hey, podcast again. This is Dan, who wrote into us a couple weeks ago asking about a PC build. We gave him some recommendations, but we also told him he should send us back another email if he needed clarification. And he did. So he said, I'm about to start looking at prices for the PCs you guys recommended for me. I don't remember what we recommended at all. And I thought I would try to get the build a little more specific to what I want to do. I still want the budget to be around $900, including the monitor. As I said before, I'd like to record, edit, and possibly stream using this PC. I'll be playing games like DayZ, Arma, Team Fortress 2, Stalker, Red Orchestra 2, Battlefield 4, indie games, etc., etc. I don't expect amazing FPS in DayZ and Arma, but I would like to get 40 FPS at 1080p if possible. I'll also need a monitor in this build, but it's not major because I have a TV monitor I can use for a bit. I also need a Windows license, preferably Windows 7, as I have read that Windows 8 sucks. I won't need a keyboard, mouse, or headset as I already have all of these things. So yeah, he's not interested in playing on Mac settings necessarily, but he just wants to be able to play pretty well for that budget. That is a little bit of a restrictive budget, actually.
Yeah.
But here's what I put together. And this actually comes out to $840, but it does not include the monitor because you said you can use your TV for a while. So I would just use your TV while you save up the money to get a monitor. But this is a AMD FX 6300. It's a 3.5 gigahertz 6-core processor. It's really cheap. It's only $120. And when you put that on your ASRock 970 motherboard, you will be able to overclock it to about 4.5 gigahertz, which should help boost your performance. I totally forgot to add a CPU cooler to this build, but you will want to get one of those. Crucial Ballistics, 8 gigs of RAM, nothing much there. A Caviar Blue 1 terabyte hard drive, nothing much there. Corsair 200R case, very basic case, very cheap. Corsair 750 watt power supply, light on DVD burner, Microsoft Windows 7 Home Premium 64-bit. And then for the graphics card, I picked a R9 280X. The 280X is basically a Radeon 7970, but that's been rebadged, and it's only $300. Now, if you're okay waiting for a while to save up for your monitor, I would bump that card up to a GTX 770, or even possibly a 290. But that's up to you. And if you want to get the monitor now, then I would just bump the 280X down to a 270X or a Sapphire 7950. But I will post this build in the comments for this video, so definitely go check it out. But any of you guys have anything you would change on that?
How much is the hard drive?
It's 65.
And how big?
A terabyte.
I wonder if you drop that down, because you don't need a terabyte for a C drive.
Well, if that's your only hard drive, you might. He wants to stream.
Do lose a terabyte, yeah.
Record, edit, and possibly stream. Like ideally, Dan, you're going to want to get a second hard drive once you can. For all the aforementioned things we talked about for streaming and stuff, it's better to do that. Or recording, it's better to not do that on the same hard drive you have everything installed on. That's not going to run nearly as well.
I don't know if you could add more of that budget into getting a better card.
A better graphics card?
Yeah.
Well, you can. You definitely can. But not
hard drives are always so much more cheaper than trying to get a video card.
Well, he definitely can bump it up, but it just depends on if he wants to get the monitor now or not. Like, you can't really cut anything out of the processor or the motherboard or the memory. There's just not any room there. So he would have to cut it out of hard drive. I mean, like, you could get a super cheap case, but that's only going to save you like another $20. So, you know, for what you want to play, this build should do everything you want, actually really well. But, you know, you can always trim it down a little bit if you need to. I wouldn't drop the processor down. It's already pretty cheap. You're not really going to get, you know, you're not really going to save that much if you drop that down some. But you could drop the hard drive down a little bit, and you could bump up the video card if you want. But, yeah, check the comments or check the description of this video, and I will leave the link for you.
I like it.
So, Evil Viking, you recently went to defend America's honor.
Actually, if I could segue first before we do...
No, that's fine. I don't even care.
I mean, I love to talk about myself. Don't get me wrong. What am I going to?
All right, go ahead.
Actually, I want to know more about KMACK first. Like, what do you play? What kind of games do you like? And what do you do on YouTube?
That's a good question. I usually play mostly just first-person shooters. A little bit of Pokemon, if that's not too gay for you guys.
Actually, I was going to ask you about that because you don't see that a whole lot. It's kind of cool to see people doing some different stuff like that.
I think you don't see as much Pokemon. I mean, it's all mobile, so it's hard to capture, isn't it?
It is hard to capture. Like I I just purchased a 2DS.
Pokemon are hard to capture. Sorry.
That works on multiple levels.
Yeah, there's like a couple sites you can buy a 3DS off of that has a built-in capture card, but they're like $400, and I do not have that in the budget right now. So I'm actually recording it off an iPhone. So that's
whatever works.
You can get a 3DS as a capture card.
Yeah, there's a website you can send in you can either buy one or you can send in your 3DS and they'll put a capture card inside of it, but it's super expensive.
I'm guessing that voids any warranty you might have.
I guarantee that.
Well, you figured that they got to do something for like news organizations and stuff. They figure out how to capture everything except the Vita. I don't think anyone can capture off the Vita.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
That's awesome.
What made you get into YouTube? Like, what made you decide?
I'm one of those fanboys that just kind of saw ZZR Grizz on YouTube when I was younger, and I thought, hey, that seems kind of cool. I'm kind of good at video games. What if I did that? And then it kind of started rolling, and somehow I ended up with over 25,000 subscribers at the moment. So I guess just kind of going.
You must be doing something all right.
Apparently, I mean, just I guess.
Have you caught all of them? All the Pokemon?
That's funny. In the original games, I have, in like the red, blue, yellow, I actually have it in my room right now. It's framed with a picture of the Pokedex behind it. It's hanging on my wall. I do have it. Actually, caught them all, including Mew without the Game Shark. I caught Mew without a Game Shark, so that's pretty fun. But I didn't play like anything past Ruby and Sapphire until X and Y. I just purchased X and Y. I never played any of the other games like the White and Black and Black 2. I never played any of those.
Huh. That's cool.
It's pretty hardcore, man.
And something cool you do on your channel I thought was kind of funny. You have the cartoon conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah. See,
one of my favorite subreddits is the fan theory subreddit.
Oh yeah, it's huge. I don't know why, but it kind of took off. I just kind of made a couple of videos just to kind of get into the. I thought it was kind of interesting, but it kind of took off. A couple of the videos have over 100,000 views, and I apparently became one of the biggest cartoon conspiracy people on YouTube behind like creepypasta. I'm like third in line, so like it's kind of exploded.
That's awesome.
What would you say is like the craziest or funniest cartoon conspiracy theory you've come across doing this? Like I'm looking, some of these titles are hilarious, but like what would you say is the coolest theory you've seen?
Well, obviously everyone is a big fan of the Rugrats theory, which is like the one that started this whole like craze, I guess you could call it. But my personal favorite is the Dexter's Lab, where Dexter actually has like autism and he's not actually smart. He's just making everything up in his mind. He doesn't actually have a lab. It's really crazy. It's kind of funny. I also like the Doug one. Doug's actually a victim of childhood molestation. That one's kind of funny.
That sounds hilarious. Actually, this isn't a cartoon one, but a cool fan theory I heard the other day. If any of you guys watch How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yeah.
There's a theory that Robin and Barney are actually S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Because, like in the Avengers movie, Robin, the actress who plays Robin, plays Agent Maria Hill. Well, someone started pointing out all these similarities. Like, you don't know what Barney does for a living, but he makes tons of money and he's gone all the time. You never see him hitting on any of these women and doing well. He just tells Ted about it. Anytime you see him hitting on women, it goes really poorly. So that's like his cover, so he can travel all over the place and do whatever he wants, and no one suspects anything. And then Robin's a reporter, so she gets to travel a lot. She gets to show up to dangerous situations as part of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then her excuse is she's there to report on it. So she's always there, and there's a lot of things they point out in the show, like the way Ted's describing it, you don't think anything about it, but he just doesn't know what's going on. So he describes things, and it's actually them working for S.H.I.E.L.D., and his perception of it is just them doing their jobs or something like that. And that's why they're marrying each other in the final season, is because they know that they won't be able to be happy with anyone who doesn't know their secret.
That's deep, man. That's
really
deep.
intense.
Yeah, I read that. I was like, wow, that makes way more sense than you'd think.
Mind blown.
I think some people have too much time, but I do enjoy reading about it.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
You also do that thing where you find WTF articles online.
Oh,
And
yeah.
read them, which I think is something we all enjoy, is like looking at the crazy things. Another good subreddit you ought to look up is one called r/NotTheOnion. Where it's titled, you think you read like, this has got to be The Onion, and it definitely is not. How did that come about? Like, how did you start doing that?
I was just reading through some websites, and I was reading some crazy articles, and I was like, these are really interesting. I should probably tell them to my subscribers, and they kind of took off as well. Like the one about the woman crushing or trying to kill her boyfriend with her breast is pretty funny.
One that got me was the husband suing the wife for secretly getting like all this plastic surgery before they got married.
Yeah.
She was actually like super ugly, and their kids like were really ugly.
The kids were ugly. I saw that one, and the judge made the wife pay $120,000.
Yeah, he won that lawsuit. That's crazy. He won that lawsuit.
He won it.
That's kind of something interesting to think about. Like, if someone got a bunch of plastic surgery, that doesn't change their genetics. Like, their genetics are still there, but think of like you can get all kinds of surgeries to change stuff, and that won't affect your genetics. So, be careful when you reproduce, guys. That's that's
noted.
The dark moral of that story. Yeah, I'm looking at the r/not the onion. Detroit elects first white mayor in more than 4 decades. The KKK Imperial Wizard hates seeing kids in Klan costumes because it doesn't show any respect for the Klan.
Oh, wow.
Man is shot at a Stop the Violence event. Oh, man. The world is stupid.
Gotta love the internet, though.
Yeah, makes for great entertainment.
So now that like your YouTube channel is established and like you've been doing it for a while, do you kind of find yourself in a routine, or are you constantly like, do you have like the series you like and you keep coming back to, or are you always just waking up going, hey, what do I want to do today, or what do I feel like making?
Basically, I've gone through every cartoon there is to go through for conspiracies, so I have dug deep into the internet looking for conspiracy theories.
Oh no!
And
we're scraping the weird stuff now.
I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel on those, but I don't know. There's still more coming out daily. I get a lot of fans that send me messages and stuff like that, coming up with their own theories that are actually pretty interesting. So it's fun to listen to my subscribers' point of view, and I pretty much just try and put that out once a week on Thursdays, and I put a what the fuck article out maybe once a week as well. And I just sprinkle in some Call of Duty tips and tricks and COD and Battlefield on top of that.
So you just finished Ghost, you said, or you finished the single player. What did you think about it?
Well, first of all, I finished it in literally one sitting, so I thought it was very short.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I started it yesterday in the morning, and I finished last night about 3 a.m. I played it on hardened, and it didn't seem like it was that hard. It seemed like I could have played this game blindfolded and still kind of beaten it. It was kind of easy, and I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. It was kind of I don't want to give any spoilers out for those of you who have not beaten it yet, but it left me, kind of thinking this was a bad purchase.
Well, I kind of feel the same way about Battlefield 4's single player. It is literally 4 hours long.
I have not played any of the Battlefield 4 single player. I'm going to actually start that tomorrow.
Well, it won't take you very long. I played it all for my channel, and the playlist is exactly 3 hours and 59 minutes. Like, I finished the first mission, I was like, wait, there's only 7 of these? That can't be right. And nope, it's really just an afterthought, which, at this point, should they even be bothering to put single player in the games anymore? They haven't, neither Call of Duty or Battlefield have had a good single player in quite some time.
They should just call Battlefields Frostbite 3, Battlefield 4 Showcase Edition, single player.
Well,
I've always thought that too. That they should maybe sell the single player separately than the multiplayer. Because I personally, if it was $20 cheaper, I would just buy the multiplayer and not even worry about the campaign.
I wonder, are they doing that just to grab the people who don't have internet access, who still want to play Call of Duty? Because, 20 or 30% of this current generation of consoles have never connected to the internet, according to their manufacturers.
Oh, wow.
There's still tons of people who just buy the console, put it up in their room and play it, and either they don't have good internet access, which is a good chunk of the country still, or they're just not interested in paying for a subscription or whatever. So, I wonder, does that grab a couple million extra units sold, or what?
I'm sure it does. Oh,
sure it does, yeah.
It costs millions of dollars to develop these single player campaigns, even if, and no one likes them. That's the thing. No one praises them for being amazing or anything. People are just like, well, now you can play multiplayer. You know?
People just seem to go and achievement whore, just get the gamer score or the PS4 score or whatever.
Exactly. It's just okay, well, I finished it. On to the next thing. Like Battlefield, for Battlefield 3, they added some guns you can only unlock if you played single player and co-op. just dumb stuff like that to try to get people to play it, but it's not that good. I don't get it. Like, I would rather them save that development money and just take that whole team and just put them into doing bug fixes and stability testing for launch day. Like, that would make a bigger difference.
I agree with that.
I mean, it's kind of stupid. Well, I mean, I say it's kind of stupid. Obviously, there's a reason they're doing it. Like, none of these companies are stupid, because they've made very successful things. But I don't understand why they would keep doing that, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. One thing, I mean, you're able to showcase a lot of the graphics. I mean, especially for releasing the game. You're gonna have a lot better trailer showing it off. You can actually script the story out. For
that
people.
Part is true.
Also, I mean, imagine your kid saying, "Hey, I really want to get this military game." Blah blah blah. When I was a kid, my mom would get it. She would have no idea what multiplayer, single player is. She doesn't know what the crap that is. And then I get home and I only have an Xbox. I don't have internet, or I have a PC and I don't have I'm not allowed to go online or something like that. Well, can't play game,
Yeah.
So, and then it's like, oh, we got to take this back because it wasn't working. Well, no, it was working, ma'am, but it's an online game and you got to connect. And so,
No,
I mean, that's the only reason I buy Call of Duty. I bought for the single player. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say Battlefield 4 is one of the prettiest games I've ever played, the single player campaign.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous.
It is jaw-droppingly gorgeous. But, I mean, that doesn't, they could just do like a single level demo or something if they wanted to do that. Like, they got big name voice actors and tried to make it some big emotional story. They kind of failed, but they tried. They go through all that for something that I'm betting.
I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, I'm playing it. I like it a lot better.
It's not bad, but I mean, why? You're going to play it and you'll never come back to it. Like, that's 4 hours you'll play compared to 200 hours of multiplayer.
What's the difference with a TV show, though? It's like, but the thing is, it's like, how long do you expect the single player is supposed to be? It's an action movie. It's an interactive action movie. That's what Call of Duty is for me. I mean, it's like, it's a little bit longer.
They keep getting shorter.
No,
Modern Warfare was like 10 hours.
The newest one is 10 hours.
Is Ghost 10 hours?
It's the longest one they've made for a long time. That's what I'm excited about. Yeah, they're usually about 6 hours. But for me, it's like, I know I can beat it pretty quick. Yeah, when I'm done, then I'm done. That's it. Like, it's like going to an action movie. I mean, how many times do you see a movie in the theater? Do you see it 8 times? No, probably once or twice, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
That's literally, I look forward to it like a movie. Like, oh, I love this action series where I get to play this dude and do all the cool action.
$60 though.
But I mean, I play Spec Ops with people and stuff like that. But that's what lately, because no one is playing that with me, because there's no Spec Ops co-op mode in this new one. So I'm like, I'm just gonna get it on PS4 because I'm just gonna rent it from Redbox.
Right.
And I can beat it in like 2 or 3 days if I run on a weekend. And then I paid what, $8 for it.
Right.
So it makes sense for that. That's what I did with the last one, Black Ops 2. But then I just got stuck in the middle and I didn't like it as much, so I took it back and I only paid $4. So that's what I do. I think PC, like on PC, yeah, it'd be a huge waste because it's like, crap, you're stuck with the game. You can't even sell it back or trade it in.
Yep.
That's what I love about consoles, trading in, my friends.
Yeah, trading into GameStop for $4 for a game you bought.
You sell it to friends. You can sell it to friends. No, if you sell it back within the first like 3-4 weeks of it's out, you get pretty much the whole price. You can either take it back. No problem.
Sounds like work to me.
If you sell it on eBay, you get most of the price back.
Yeah, I have to beat a game in 2 weeks.
No, I'm saying if you don't like it. So it's like if you get a game, you're like, crap, this sucks. Nope, you can take it back. Get money back.
That's true. That's very
true. Where
true.
Steam, you can't at all. You don't even have a chance.
That is true, but with Steam, you could buy 8 games for the same price.
Don't forget,
yeah,
though,
if you wait a year and a half, so I don't even want to hear it.
Origin does have a game return policy now where if you don't like it, you can return it. I think it's like, 3 days or something like that?
I think it's 7 days, actually.
Is it 7 days? Yeah, I mean, that's pretty unheard of.
But you can't have played more than a certain percentage of it, right?
No, you can do anything. They don't care.
There's no hard limit. I imagine if you'd like beaten the game 3 times over, they'd be like, really? But there's no agreement that says.
Wait, what'd you say?
They can tell by the in-game achievements and stuff. Like, they're tracking when you finish stuff in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll know exactly where they are. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about something else.
You've given all your rights over to them. So, Joel, if I'm correct, next Friday the PS4 comes out, right?
Let's see. It comes out the 15th.
Yeah, 15th.
So,
15th?
Oh, it's next Friday. I was thinking it's Tuesday because Assassin's Creed. No, actually, GameStop said the PS4 should be actually on Tuesday.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I was like, hey, I'm gonna get Assassin's Creed, and I was like, I think the PS4 comes out on the 15th. He's like, yeah, it looks like we're gonna be getting him early. So he's like, I would check back on the 12th. I was like, hey,
Nice.
yes, I will.
KMACK, are you getting a PS4?
No, I'm getting an Xbox One. I'm an Xbox fanboy.
Okay. Yeah, well, actually, if you don't mind me asking, then a lot of people switched from Xbox to PS4. They say they are, because of the price and all the internet features and everything on the Xbox. A lot of people didn't like. So what about it kept you with Xbox? Is it your friends list or anything like that?
Yeah, the friends list had a lot to do with it. The gamer score obviously is a big deal to a lot of people. I just like the exclusives a lot better. Like, I've never played a God of War game in my entire life. I've never played Final Fantasy and all those PS3 exclusives. I'm a bigger fan of the Halos. Of course, Call of Duty is multi-platform. Gears of War franchise is Xbox Live. And of course, Titanfall is going to be crazy. So I'm basically, that's all I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, trying to stay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be getting the Xbox One once Halo comes out, but I'm sticking with the PS4 because it has all the games, at least right now, until like all of the games are just basically non-exclusive, except for I think Dead Rising and a few of those games. But that I'm not interested in playing right now. But I will miss Gears of War, so I'll
So
get
do you
that when
think-
it comes out.
Do you think people overreacted some to the features they didn't like on the Xbox One, or do you think it's just people want the friends list and things more? They want them bad enough to stay.
It's a little bit of both. I feel like the friends list and the gamer scores obviously have a huge deal to some people. I know it is to me. I'm not a huge achievement whore, but I have plenty of people on my friends list that have over 50,000 gamer score, and they're just not willing to give that up. I mean, that means a lot to some people, and it could be the turning point of whether or not they buy the new system, or whether they buy the Xbox One or PS4.
I guess it remains to be seen, like, how many of those hardcore gamers there are compared to how many people just want to buy it, compared to how many people are just going to buy it to play a couple games. I would guess, like, people who play Madden, people who play Call of Duty, they're going to stick with their console of choice probably. Because, like you said, their friends list is going to be a really big deal. But I guess we don't really know what percentage of people are that compared to people who just buy it, play a couple games, and that's really all they do. So I don't know. I think it's very interesting, especially considering like the way the last generation went, where the PS3 was pretty much a failure for a year and a half or so, until finally they started turning it around, getting their act together, and things got a lot better. But it kind of seems like, or at least the general perception is, the PS4 has a stronger launch.
Yeah, that extra $100 is a huge incentive to a lot of parents out there who are going to be buying this console for their kids.
yeah.
This holiday season. It's going to be a huge factor. Like, how many families out there have an extra $100 to throw away, just because the system costs that much more, because they have the Connect that nobody wants.
Well, and that's another thing to think about. Like, what if typically when the consoles come out, some of them sell out and they're hard to find for a couple of weeks. I wonder, this could also come down to whichever manufacturer has stored up enough of these units that, if they have them when the other guy doesn't, that might be enough. Like, even if you're planning on getting a PS4, if you're not going to be able to get a PS4 for 2 months and there's Xbox Ones sitting on the shelf, I wonder how many people would just cough up the extra $100 to get it then.
That's a good point.
I mean, because people they'll buy the console for $1,000 on eBay. Some of them will, just to have it. So I wonder what price would people switch systems for? People say they'll switch for $400, but people have also complained about every Call of Duty, and then you see them playing it later on your Steam list. So I guess we'll see. People have talked big, but starting Tuesday or Friday, I guess we'll find out how excited people really are.
So
But,
speaking of the Xbox One, is this where I talk about London for like
I
an
think
hour?
this is where maybe not an hour,
Yeah, not
but
an hour. Not that exciting.
I think this would be a good time to talk about London.
USA.
Reigning World War champions!
Let me pull up a pillow to get comfortable for this.
You pulled the pillow. Yeah, so last week I flew out with 31 other fellow patriots to London to defend America's honor in the first Battlefield 4 tournament on unreleased hardware. We actually played on the Xbox One in an unfinished build of Battlefield 4, also running the Second Assault map DLC, which comes out in, I think, end of the month, around the time of launch, maybe just after launch, something like that. It was a ridiculously awesome trip. It's a big deal for Battlefield. Like, this was one of the biggest tournaments that I can remember Battlefield ever having. We had hosts from G4 TV there, along with Major Nelson from Xbox Live, was actually our team's commander. A total of 64 players, 32 for each team. Had all kinds of meetups. I got to talk to Alan Kurtz, who is the lead multiplayer designer on Battlefield 4. Talked to Daniel Matros, who's a gameplay designer and was behind a lot of the spectator mode and stuff like that in Battlefield 4. And my personal favorite, being a 3D artist myself, I got to talk to Dennis. I can't pronounce his last name. He's from Sweden. He's the lead level designer on Battlefield 4, and eventually coming up, once he finishes up his work on Battlefield 4, he'll be the lead level designer on Star Wars Battlefront 3. Wow. Which he couldn't talk about, but he was like super pumped. Like, we kept pressing him with questions. He'd be like about to say something, be like, all I can say is it's going to be awesome. So that was pretty wild. But the tournament was a lot of fun. It was cool because it was like no giant cash prize. We got flown out to London, and we got all kinds of free food and free room and board, and that was all fun. But competitively, it was a lot of pub stars, like from YouTube, guys who are just active in the Battlefield community. Everyone was just really, really awesome on both teams. Everyone was just hanging out, getting along. Really awesome. Unfortunately, some of the fans from, I'll say mainly the European team, but also some of the USA fans got like a little too into it and were like posting some really vile comments back and forth about how horrible America or Europe was. And I think everyone who was actually at the event was just kind of bemused by it, because we were there to have fun. Like, yeah, we were competitive for the actual event, but everyone was just getting along and having a good time. But some of these guys on YouTube were just getting way too into it. But in the end, of course, America did win 3-0. The Europeans did surprise us on the actual the live broadcast, because during scrums, they seem to have a hard time communicating, sticking together, working together. These 64-player matches are very hard to coordinate and to really keep control of. But when the live matches started, we had a couple of times in all three of the rounds where we were like, okay, like, we really got to step it up here, because they would have a flag cap right there at the beginning, and we'd be having to come back from that. But I'd say thanks to communication mainly, we ended up winning 3-0 in the end. Yeah,
I saw that. One of the things I was kind of intrigued about is I know that in Europe there's multiple languages. I was wondering how they could communicate, because I know from someone from Germany, someone from Sweden, someone from Great Britain. That could be a little bit harder to communicate. There could be a language barrier there. Like, you don't know you don't speak German. Like, what the hell is this guy saying?
Yeah, there actually was. English is kind of like the trade language in Europe. Actually, at DICE, the developer Battlefield in Sweden, you're required to be able to speak English no matter where you're from, because it's the work language. But most of the European team could speak pretty good English, and they were able to communicate. But some of their best players, including a French competitive Battlefield team with a lot of experience, those guys could only speak French, and they were really, really good, but their team really couldn't make use of them and like get them where they needed to be because of that language barrier.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. I also enjoyed that triple cap on Flood Zone was amazing. I was watching that live. I was so pumped for that.
Yeah, and do you guys have any questions about the Xbox One? Because I will say, okay, I'm a PC gamer. I am a graphics whore. I love just ridiculous graphics. I pay dumb amounts of money to keep my computer updated, partially for freelance work, but partially because, like I said, I just love graphics.
I'm not sure freelance work needs that 680.
Tax write-off. Well, hey, when you're doing freelance work in CryEngine, it makes for a pretty great excuse. But graphically, I would say that the Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One disappointed me a little bit at first. I'd say only minor improvements over Battlefield 3 on the Xbox 360. But what blew my mind was, as a PC gamer, to see Battlefield at 60 FPS with only minor frame drops and 64 players on a console. Let me tell you guys, this was a true Battlefield experience on consoles. Console players, when this thing releases in a couple of weeks, you guys are going to freak out. It was so much fun. Like, we get to play probably a total of 14 to 16 hours over 2 days. And by a couple hours in, I forgot that I was using a controller. Like, it was so much fun.
That's awesome.
So yeah, the graphics aren't gonna be like super mind blowing, but they do look good. And DICE made the right choice to do the 60 FPS and to focus on the player count. It's just so much fun. It really is.
So tell us
great
about the
news.
controller, because I've heard that they sunk a ton of money into the controller for the Xbox One, and I've heard good things about it, but you're obviously the only person I know who's played one yet.
I've actually got my hands on one too. They're pretty
Oh,
fun.
really? Oh, where'd you play
Oh,
it?
nice.
They're actually, I go to college at Illinois State University here in Illinois, and I was lucky enough to get my hands on. They had one of the Xbox One trucks came by, and they were parked on
cool.
campus one day. So I skipped class, and I went out and I got my hands on a couple of games. I played like Forza and some fighting game. The controller felt really good. I really enjoyed it.
So was the line crazy?
Actually, no. I got there really early because, like I said, I skipped class, and everyone else was in class during the time. But it was really fun. I really enjoyed the controller, and the graphics from what I saw were an improvement. The Forza game, I'm terrible at racing games, so I was just crashing into walls the whole time, and I didn't know the controls very well for the fighting game. But from what I felt of the controller, I really enjoyed.
Now, what do you think feels different about it compared to the Xbox 360 controller? Because the 360 controller is already pretty good.
From what I noticed, the trigger stops were a little more touchy. They're like on the Xbox 360, sometimes, on the non-scuff controllers, you have to really push that trigger all the way down to get the effect of the control. This one I thought was a little more touchy, so you could be a little more precise with your trigger action. And the overall feel of the controller felt really good in my hands.
That's good. That's one thing. The main difference between the console and the PC is the way you control it. And controllers, they can be good. They can also be mad cats.
I think for me, the main thing that I noticed right off the bat was the texture of the controller is different. Like, I'm a big fan of the Xbox controller, the 360 one. Like, if I'm using a controller, it's going to be one of those, one of Joel's, actually, because I'm too cheap to buy my own. But the texture on the new one was not quite that slick plastic. It's not quite rubberized either, but it's kind of like this in-between, like, matte texture that just felt really, really good. I really liked it.
Does it repel sweaty hands?
It really does, because we stood there for hours doing scrums, and that texture came in handy. And the controller overall seems a bit smaller. The analog sticks, too, are smaller. But overall, yeah, Microsoft, money well spent. Controller felt great.
Where are the seams on that controller? One of my biggest pet peeves with my PlayStation controllers was when I was in college, tons of people would be playing like Call of Duty and stuff on my PS3 in the common room, and you would just get grime down in the cracks. I know. I hate that. So where are the seams?
You let other people use it.
All right, well, here's the thing.
Joel, I have your controller on my desk right now.
That's because I have extras. That's because I'm
Story
rich.
time.
That's true. Joel did give me his broken controller. The analog stick sticks.
So when I went to college, I was like, hey, I had to kind of living rooms in our apartments. And I was like, hey, I want to have a good college experience, but I don't feel like going out and meeting tons of people. So I'll make my living room awesome enough that people will want to come hang out in it, and then I'll meet people. And this worked out actually really well.
Nice.
So I set up my TV. At the time, I had a 50-inch TV. And I set up my PS3 and everything. I brought a recliner from home, so I had a recliner and a lamp and a carpet. And we made the living room pretty nice. So people showed up, and it was awesome. We'd stay up late playing Call of Duty and everything like that. Well, my last year of school, that kind of backfired. There's this kid who was really into World of Warcraft and really not into spending time with other humans. And he was in another apartment in the dorm, and he got it into his head that the smart thing to do would just be to hang out with us all the time, which would be fine, but there wasn't room in our rooms, but we would normally just leave the door to our rooms open so you could you're kind of the living room was right there. So he carried over his desktop and set it up on our couch. So his desktop was sitting on the floor right next to the couch, and he was using our TV as his monitor. And you'd walk out early in the morning, he's just sitting there in his boxers with half a dozen Mountain Dew cans and candy wrappers sitting around, and just hey, you'd go to class, you'd come back, he's still sitting there. So at this point, I was like, I feel like I'm starting to lose control of the living room here. But I didn't know what to do because he was a freshman, and I didn't want to scare him off because he didn't really hang out with that many people. So I just let him be. Well, then another dude moved in to our chair. He moved into my recliner and spilled his dip bottle in it.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
And
then murder.
And then another guy in my apartment, he didn't move in there, but he was like, hey, I know what. Let's start a Call of Duty profile that's nothing but knives. We don't shoot anybody. We just stab people. And this was in Modern Warfare 2 with the horribly glitched
Commando
knife stuff. Yeah, Commando. Back when Commando was like teleport 10 feet and stab somebody in the head.
Halo lunge.
Yeah. So they started doing that. So they'd be up at like 3 a.m. while I'm trying to sleep. There's like 4 guys in the living room just wiping their grubby hands all over my controllers and screaming at the top of their lungs just for hours and hours. And that went on for like an entire semester. They put a couple hundred hours into Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. I put like 3 into it. So that's why I don't like grimy controllers.
That's a good story.
I think I'm really good at telling stories that are very long and don't ultimately come to a point.
And they just end all of a sudden. No warning.
I call them dad stories. I've been trained well.
Perfect.
What were we talking about?
It was pretty cool to play the Xbox One so early. I gotta say, like that first moment when they first brought us out onto the stage, and there's 64 Xboxes set up. There was a single tear shed because each Xbox One like had your name on it. Like you felt kind of special, like a special little snowflake. Of course, they were also dead bolted to the desk with a twisted steel cable, so that kind of hurt a bit. But you know, Microsoft's got to do what Microsoft's got to do.
We love you. We don't trust you, but we love you.
Exactly.
We're all special.
Yeah, it was
but
blessed.
You take this, we shoot you
and
on sight.
If you guys haven't watched it yet, I gotta say, at least from watching back the actual matches, like I didn't get to watch it because I was obviously playing. I think the game, quiet you. I think the game casts really, really well. Like it's really intense to watch. So if you guys have not seen the matches yet, you can actually watch the replay of the entire event on battlefield.com/showdown. And it's a lot of fun to watch, I think. What do you guys think?
I agree. Like, I'm not a big sports fan. I have no problem with sports, but you know, I watch the Super Bowl once a year or something. But you know, and I understand what's going on, but that's kind of as far as it goes. But with this, like, I got it. Like, I understood sports for the first time because I understood the plays you guys were making and like how you had lines of defense set up, and I was trying to guess your strategies
when
and stuff.
People made mistakes, like running across the map with the bomb in the wrong direction.
Yeah. You're kind of bitter. But you know, that was really, really cool because like I understood it for the first time, which, you know, I would like if they had a weekly game broadcast on Xbox Live or something. Well, I don't have an Xbox, but if they came up with some way of broadcasting that once a week on Twitch or something like that, like I would probably tune in and watch that. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, nice. I would definitely watch that.
Now, obviously, America won everything. Why would you say America won? Not to rub it in Europe's face, but you know, but you guys did win.
Yeah, well, you know, I kind of already mentioned some of it, and I think the main thing that got us to victory was freedom. Actually, no, communication. I think was key. Not so much the Europeans' language barrier, but just how organized we were. Like, I was the gunner on tank number 2, or depending on the map, APC number 2 for the U.S. team. And we had our assignments planned out ahead of time. Like we had an idea of which maps we were gonna be playing. We had strategies for like 10 different maps. We were like, this is where you go. This is what you do when you die. You get your vehicle or your loadout. You come back here and you complete your assignment. And then also as the match is progressing, you listen for temporary orders like, you know, flag C is being capped. If you're dead, spawn on C, kill the invaders, just kill yourself, and then go back to your assignment. And that works so well. It's actually kind of funny. On the live stream, you can hear on that first match on Caspian Border, my tank driver, Ice Viper 777, who's got a YouTube channel where he does a lot of stuff with Battlefield. I'm not sure if he got nervous or bored or what. We were guarding one of those gates in the wall on Caspian Border on the new version, and it had been quiet for a few minutes. We were just kind of hanging out guarding the wall, and he decided to lower the gate, and he drove out to A flag, which was the closest flag to their spawn, and we started capping it. Excuse me. Allergies are kicking me in the face this week. So we started capping the flag. They call a dead spawn where all their guys who were dead like immediately spawn on the flag, and all of a sudden we're surrounded by like 5 engineers who are just pummeling us with rockets. And one of our team commanders, Brett FX on our team, like throws off his headset and just screams across the room, Viper, get that tank back to where you're supposed to be. He's like, all right. And they actually cut to us in the live stream. Like, you see us like full speed reversing back across the map back to our station. But it worked. Like, no one got through that gate once we were back where we were supposed to be. So yeah, I'd say communication was absolutely key.
And the matches, like, they all started out kind of close, but then you guys started pulling away. As the match wore on, you could definitely tell, like, when you got your momentum going, it was really good. But yeah, I was pretty impressed. Everyone there seemed like they were having just a good time. It wasn't like it wasn't super serious. Everyone was joking around, just enjoying playing the game. There wasn't a ton of money on the line, which probably helped.
Yeah. One thing that actually, speaking of everyone having fun, Shawboy was actually playing for the European team, and all he did the entire week was C4 Jeeps, and it was terrifying. Like, by the end of practice, I was just constantly watching behind us. Like, actually, in the live stream, in the obliteration match, he saves the bomb carrier by C4ing a tank just in time. It's hilarious. Everyone just had so much fun. It was a blast.
Mm-hmm. So you definitely recommend that, if they ask us to go, you'd say, like, hey, you should do that?
Yeah, I mean, I had to kind of think it over a bit, but I would say that if EA and Microsoft offer you a free trip to London, I'd say go for it,
All right, I turned them down this time, but, next time I will, I'll consider it, if I don't have anything else going on.
No one wanted to say who it was, but there was a competitive Xbox player who did turn down the trip because there was no prize involved, which for this guy, like, I mean, for me, I'm like, heck yeah, free trip to London. But for this guy, he's at the point where he literally gets a ton of money from playing. So he was just like, sorry, guys, it's just not worth my time.
Literally a ton.
Literally a ton. Like, dump truck backs up to his house.
Funny story. You know what the phrase "a ton of money" comes from? Supposedly, $1 million in $1 bills weighs 1 ton.
Thanks, Dad.
Fun fact.
That is really cool.
I can't help what I know.
That's part of the podcast.
I just know it.
Skinner's wisdom.
I couldn't go to London because I was stuck with Joel filming some dumb movie.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel, actually, tell everyone really quickly. Like, we've made jokes about it, but what are you doing? What's this movie thing?
You've been gone from everything for like a month now.
Yeah, there's a reason Joel's been gone. He hasn't just been missing.
I'm actually working on some of the photos you took of the set and the movie.
Why do you need to work on them? They're perfect.
I don't.
Joel, you missed your opportunity right there. I was waiting for you to be like, yeah, I was actually with your mom all last month. Like, that was the perfect opening for you. You didn't take it.
I know. I guess I'm just so in awe of the film that I'm working on right now.
There it is.
No, it's I've been working on a film for over 2 years now, and this past weekend, Skinner came up and helped me out, basically being a practically assistant director / lighting / photographer / actor in the film, and it was awesome. It was a crazy time. It was 3 days of just nonstop shooting. It was pretty ridiculous, but it was a huge help, and I'm hoping right now I have a tentative date of I want to see if it'll happen. That's how many days it gives me. It gives me 217 days to get it done, which would be like June 16th or something.
Really?
Nice.
That's what I'm trying for. And then I have July as kind of like a swing date, but I want to get it done because I really want to put it into film festivals and stuff this fall because I don't want to have to wait another year for it.
Well, I can say
before then you're gonna have to do like all the sound and the CGI and.
I know, yeah. So I am going to be starting a Kickstarter.
No pressure, but
probably the 1st of January, if not by the end of December. I'm going to start it.
Awesome.
So I don't need to raise that much money, but I want to just raise a little bit, but also just kind of raise awareness of the film, and it will help me just to be like, all right, let's focus. Let's get this last part edited and done. And once people know about it, which not a lot of people do, it makes you conscious of saying, now I have to deliver it. So it's a helpful thing. It's scary and it's awesome, but it's kind of like, okay, people are like, now they're expecting to see it this fall, so let's do something. Because honestly, the longer time you give to work on a project, you always can use more time. So honestly, it's just good to kind of set a date and just be like, let's get this thing done. Make decisions. It's got to happen. So I might actually give you. I might give you a clip. I might give you a clip of Skinner just for if you post this on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll post this on YouTube.
Podcast.
If you want to,
I'll give you a small little clip.
A super short clip. Just nothing. Yeah. Just a tease. I will say, like, we make jokes. We joke around with Joel a lot. With his YouTube channel and everything like that. He's actually a really talented filmmaker. So we tease him a lot, but I've seen some of the clips from this, and it's actually most people I think will be surprised given how much we make fun of Joel. You will be surprised actually how good a lot of this looks, especially considering it was filmed with like a really cheap DSLR camera.
That's actually the key, Jeremiah. I think he doesn't waste any of that talent on YouTube. YouTube gets none of it.
Yeah, if you guys haven't, I know we joke about not going, but you should really go check out the Boundless MP YouTube channel. It's just a fine collection of garbage. There's a lot of garbage, actually. It's gotten way more views than most of my videos, but...
Just one of these days, the trailer for my film... because one of these days, the trailer for this film is just going to pop on there. It's be like, hey guys, so my mom gave me money to make a sci-fi film, so here you go. And it's just like, mind blown. Like, what the crap? But of course, on my YouTube channel, I'll have to say, like, she gave me $400,000. So I didn't really want to make a movie because that's really hard to do. So I gave my friends $300,000, and then I spent $100,000 on pizza and new actors.
Oh, Joel, never change.
Well,
I
maybe a little is okay. Before we get out of here, does anyone have anything they want to talk about tonight? KMACK, you have anything else you want to bring up or talk about?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything about my channel.
Yeah, actually, I've been watching some of your videos, and I think I really like them. Like, I hadn't watched a ton before about like 3 or 4 days ago when I got back from my trip, but actually, did I subscribe to your channel? I don't think I did yet.
Oh, you better get over there.
I better get over. I can't believe I've just been doing it this long.
Now, Jeremiah, what's that URL?
That URL is youtube.com/ oh, this is longer than I thought it was. /KMACKilla80, spelled KMACKKILLA80.
God, I wish I could change that.
I know that feel.
Well, that's how I feel. Like I'm locked to my my Origin ID is not something I use anywhere else. It's just in Origin.
That was my original gamer tag when I was about 14, and I wish I could change it so much.
Yeah,
that's me too.
Just word to any like 13-year-olds out there who are trying to settle on like 420 Blaze It Faggots as their username. Like, you just might want to reconsider. Like, you build up a big gamer score, it's going to be hard to go back.
Yeah, guys, great username for you. How about Well-Adjusted Adult 43? That one's got some long life on it right there.
Yeah, just like a nice a nice normal name. You know, it could even be like KMACK. KMACK is fine. KMACKilla80. You might possibly regret that someday.
Yeah, you might. You just might.
Or Evil Viking, if you're not Nordic at all.
Evil Viking
live on the East Coast of the USA.
Yeah, how did that name come by again? I think everyone would love to hear that.
Okay, it's a nice short story. Awesome game, Novalogic Joint Operations, the guys that made the Delta Force games back in the day. It was like a Battlefield-style multiplayer shooter. They did 128 players back in the day, on dial-up. It was wild, but I had just gotten the game. I was installing it off of my CD onto the computer. I was listening to one of those late-night talk shows, and I had to have a name to log in with, and I wanted to play this game right this second. He made some joke about Vikings doing evil things, and I'm like, there we go, Evil Viking. I want to get in the game right now. And here I am, 12 years later, stuck with it.
Well, that's how I ended with mine. It's not 12 years later. It's only been 2 or 3 years, but Germ, a lot of my family calls me that because my whole name apparently is a lot of work for people who love me.
Too much pronunciation. Jeremiah?
Yeah, so they call me Germ. I was like, well, I don't want to just call myself Germ. There are other people who have the name Germ online. So I just said Germ Gaming because this channel has the games on it.
And that marketing genius.
Yeah, so then I spelled it with a J because that's how everyone spells germ. Yeah. Anyway, so
you're a geek snowflake.
if you want to be a part of the show, write in at Casual Shenanigans. I said at Casual Shenanigans. Write casualshenanigans@gmail.com or tweet at Casual Shenaniga. That's right. No N on the end. And
you, Twitter.
Yeah, and you can also write to any one of our YouTube pages. Like, there's a lot of ways to find us. I don't know. I don't feel like going through the whole thing. Like, it's not that hard. You've got a Google search bar. You have our names. Just
if you're listening to this, you know who we are.
Exactly. Well, I would assume so. Subscribe. You can subscribe through iTunes or your podcast thing of choice. If you'd like to leave a review for the podcast in iTunes, we will enter you in the drawing for a free game code of our choice. You have to read a good review. It can even be a 1-star review. I'm not saying that'll affect the quality of the game you get, but but no, actually, seriously, thank you everyone for watching and listening. And KMACK, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, man. Can I say one thing real quick?
Absolutely.
I just recently hit 25,000 subscribers, and I was going to ask all of my subscribers, and I want to ask all of your subscribers as well, what I should do for a thank you video. I have it down between 2 options right now.
Okay.
And the 2 options is option A is I eat 2 of the world's hottest chili peppers on live on camera. Oh, they're like ghost Chilaquian peppers. They're
crap.
like a million fucking things hot, and they're going to kill me. That, or the option B is that I finish an entire 30-pack of Busch Light within 5 hours and do a time-lapse video. So I'd love to hear your guys' subscribers' input on that as well, or you guys can go to my channel and also leave me a comment and tell me what you guys would see. And the winner's going to be done. I'm going to pick the winner next week. I'm probably going to do it next Thursday, whatever the challenge, whatever it is that I win, or whatever one wins. I'm probably going to do it next week on Thursday.
Either of those things could kill you. That's what makes this so exciting.
We're gonna watch you
I know. It's
die on live camera.
right?
What's better, alcohol poisoning or your throat melting?
It'll
Neither
start
of them
with the
were really
throat.
good.
You know what my advice is? They're not worth it. Don't do it.
No. I'm going to say definitely do it, and I'm going to be keeping an eye out on Twitter, because either one of those you go with, like, you can't go wrong. Either of those is going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be an adventure for sure.
Hope you have good health insurance.
All right, well,
Awesome.
Thank you, KMACK, for coming on. Yeah, definitely leave comments in the video on the video, guys, or tweet at KMACK or tweet at us, and we'll send it on to them. Which of those you think would be good? I'm not going to say anything which one I think is better on air, because I don't want to influence your decision. I know which one I would like to see. So yeah, anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you everyone for coming on. Sorry it couldn't be live this week. If Google fixes Google Plus, we'll try to do it live again next week. If they don't fix Google Plus, maybe we'll do a special episode where we talk about all the things they've done to Google Plus. Who knows?
Just an hour-long rant.
We could probably get quite a few YouTubers on for that one.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you for listening, and we'll see you later.
You guys.
See ya.
Peace out.
Stay casual.